And this one is Recommended Draft Policy 2017-13, remove ARIN review requirements for large IPv4 reassignment allocations. It's a recommended draft policy, so I'll give the history of it. Because it's recommended, this might be the last time you see it at an ARIN meeting. Literally, this could be put into last call and sent to the Board of Trustees and be in the NRPM, in the Number Resource Policy Manual, the next time we get together. So let me give you the history. It was submitted as ARIN Policy Proposal 248 in October of last year. It was advanced to draft policy in November and recommended draft policy in March 2018. As a recommended draft policy, the Advisory Council is saying that it is clear, technically sound, and it provides for fair resource administration. It has not yet been presented at an ARIN meeting. It is coming to this meeting, but it is considered in such good shape that it could again be advanced into the policy manual right after this meeting. The Shepherds of Springer, John Springer and David Farmer. So what this does is it removes the requirement for staff to review and approve customer reallocations or reassignments that's presently contained in NRPM 4235. We would not have to then approve the large reassignments and reallocations that are made from direct allocations. If you have a large block and then in turn you reallocate a large block, we right now, by policy, are to review that large reallocation. We will continue following our processes for reassignments and reallocation to verify usage for IPv4 requests submitted for the waitlist or recipient transfers. So to the extent that you're saying that reallocation is why you have less space, then it would still be subject to review at some point if you then end up with a request for waitlist or you put in a request to receive resources. It can be implemented as written. There's no material legal issues regarding the proposal. The impact is minimal resource impact. We update our internal procedures, do some staff training and minor engineering work. So I'm now going to have the Advisory Council presentation, and that's going to be presented by John Springer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You've already seen this. I did want to point this out. Essentially, the implication of this is that current practice is that when you make an allocation of an 18 or a 19, a sub-allocation or assignment of an 18 or 19, that process is reviewed by ARIN at that time. This policy would remove that check at that time. However, the check would still take place the next time you come for another transfer or to go on the wait list. Essentially what we're doing here is this section 4.3.2.5 was put in place to be sure that people were not gaming the system by receiving allocations of 16 or above and then assigning or sub-allocating them in such a way that they would immediately qualify to come back for additional resources in an unfair way. Because the free pool is gone, it is postulated that that's no longer a relevant situation. Current market value, you would need to be getting about a 16 to be sub-allocating or assigning 18s or 19s, and the market value of those these days is $1 million, so theoretically nobody's doing that maliciously. The effect of this recommended draft policy is to remove this section, 4.2.3.5. It's in your copy of the NRPM in your printed guide online, a number of different places here for your convenience. There's been a modest amount of discussion about this on the list. So far, it has been relatively non-controversial, and there has been a modest amount of support on the PPML for it. So, assuming that we don't light a fire here today, Shepherd's intend to take this to last call after the meeting.
Standing right here, yes. The policy after the social, always a bit of a tough slot. This, though, is the last time you may see this proposal at a meeting, so the microphones are open, remotely and in person. Again, do not stampede towards the microphones. I'm worried for your safety. Rear microphone, please. I think we need, there we go.
Hi. Whoa, sorry. Kathy Aronson. I support this. I think this is great. So, thanks.
Thank you for the support. Front microphone.
Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire. I support the policy as written. This is work we just don't need to be doing anymore. And thank you for the cleanup, the author and the AC for shepherding this along. And yes, please make it happen.
Support. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to this? It is important to speak, even just to say, as those two did, in favor or against. Does anybody want to give reasons why this policy is not a good idea? This just goes to show the quality of the social last night, because everyone is just still recovering. So congratulations to staff on that. Chris? No? All right, if we do not see the stampede stop to the microphones in the next 5 seconds, we will have to close the microphones. But again, noting this is going to be the last opportunity for you to potentially the last opportunity for you to comment on this, and the AC is looking for your feedback. John, anything you want to add? Nope. Quiet bunch. It is, though, just striking one section, so fairly simple policy change. All right, the microphones are now closed. We will thank John for his presentation. Thank you. Oh, we have a, wait, John, we have a late breaking comment. There is a bit of a lag, so remote participation comment, please. You gotta hit the button there.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
There you go.
From Jason Schiller, Google, also AC. ASO, sorry. I previously worked for a large ISP. This clause was to help ensure a large allocation/assignment was not made incorrectly, which would make the ISP ineligible for additional ISP space. I have not heard this is still needed. I suggest it should still be optional. I support as written.
Okay, thank you for that comment.
Oh, and
Yep, you're off.
Brian Jones, I support as written.
Okay. Does anyone else want to quickly speak since we did reopen for a second? Start moving? No. Okay. Thank you very much again, John. Sorry about that. You get a second clap. There you go. All right. Given that this is a recommended draft policy, I will now ask the question. And yes, you need to stretch your arm for just a minute, which I think is probably good this early in the morning. So if you could please, the question being, whether or not you support the policy, ARIN-2017-13 as written. Would all those that are in support please raise your hand nice and high and keep it that way? Bit of few leaning arms, I guess, a little bit of tired from last night. Thank you. You may lower, and then I will ask for all those opposed to this policy 2017-13 as written. Please raise your hand nice and high. And remote participants, please indicate online. Via Slack now, I guess. Thank you. You may lower your hand. we just wait for the tabulation? Everybody waking up? Perhaps a quick round of applause for all the staff that did organize that very lovely social. It seemed to be very well attended. Good music, good food, lots of entertainment, so thank you. The Team O has put on a great show. All right, the envelope is coming. Given a turn in the morning, I'll just double check that it's the right one and not Best Actress. Recommended draft policy, ARIN-2017-13, remove ARIN review requirements for large IPv4 reassignments and reallocations. 92 in the room, 8 remote, 29 in favor, 0 against. This will be passed on to the AC, and we'll move on to our next presentation. Thank you.